What would you say is the thing no one tells you?
No, that's a good question. I think there's a lot of things. We've talked about relationships some. I think that is a huge part of the NFL of success, but also just like enjoying coming to work every day and enjoying playing in the NFL or the relationships you're able to build with coaches, with teammates, and how long that can go, how what that can do on the field and off the field.
Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Things No One Tells You. We also love to call it T-Naughty, and I'm just super pumped for this one because it's hot off the presses. And by that I mean there's a little bit of an unexpected breaking news situation that occurred here, which is what I love. But I also love talking to this guest. So my guest today is Indianapolis Colts quarterback Daniel Jones. So I have been a fan of Daniel Jones' work ethic for a long time, and following him in his career with the New York Giants. He played 6 years with the Giants. It was a roller coaster. This New York media market, as everybody can understand, is a pressure cooker. So watching him there and go through those ups and downs, and then seeing the success that he has found with the Colts has been really exciting. When I saw Daniel Jones at the Indy 500, it was surprising because I don't know, I didn't think he would be there, and so I was like, "Oh yeah, of course you're here because you literally just signed with this team." And it was really cool to be able to talk to him on the front end of this part of his journey because he still didn't really know anything about Indianapolis. He was learning his new teammates, and to see where he is now and with this team that is having all of this success, it's really cool. And what I love about that is the different storylines in football that have come into play, like the camaraderie, the belief, the mental toughness that it takes. I think that's really awesome. Now, flash forward to I'm sitting down to get ready to have this conversation with Daniel, and literally within the hour before, we get the breaking news that all pro cornerback Sauce Gardner has been traded from the Jets to the Colts. So really, this, in my opinion, is an indication of just what the Colts are expecting and hoping of their team this season and obviously beyond. So super cool to be able to sit with Daniel and just hear a lot of different perspectives from him, but also to get his reaction out of the gate on that news. Daniel, I'm so excited to talk to you about your journey, but first, nothing like a blockbuster trade, right? The Colts
Yeah.
acquiring all-pro cornerback Sauce Gardner in a trade with the Jets for two first rounders. What was your reaction when you heard that news?
Yeah, it's crazy, crazy how a lot of this stuff happens. I think a lot of times you find out like the public finds out, and I think people think sometimes we have an inside scoop, but a lot of times you're finding out like everybody. But excited, he's a great player, and haven't played against him in a game, played against him in practice in New York in training camp a couple times, and yeah, he's an impressive player. So excited to get him for sure. And then we traded AD Mitchell, and he's a great player. I'm really excited for AD as he gets the opportunity in New York. He's a talented player, great dude, and tough to see him go, but excited to see what he'll do in New York.
How did you get the news?
Yeah, I was in the building, and I saw it on social media, and then leave the quarterback meeting room, and that's what that's what everyone was talking about.
So, what kind of impact do you think Sauce brings to this defense?
I think he'll help us a lot for sure. He's a great man to man cover guy. Lou wants to play match coverage, man coverage, and that's I think plays right into Sauce's strengths. So yeah, I think that'll be good for us.
And I mean, big picture wise, one of the first things I thought about was just like, what does this mean to you? And really, like, the message to just the investment in this team, really like doubling down, heading down the stretch. What are your thoughts on that, and what does it mean?
Yeah, I think as a player, seeing the team make a move like that, yeah, it gives you a lot of confidence, and kind of knows the coaches, everybody, we're all in, and we're doing everything we can to win as many games we can. So I think as a player, obviously you're excited about it.
I was thinking back to seeing you at the Indy 500 this year. So that was, a few months before the start of the season, right?
Mhm.
And And I just thought, like, wow, we're sitting there swapping ideas about where to go in Indy. And now here you are, in the position with the success that this team has had this season. Like, what has that been like?
It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. I think, yeah, at that point I didn't know a ton about Indianapolis and the city, and I'm still learning and still trying to get used to it. But I've really enjoyed being here, and the people are awesome. The fans are great. It's a sports town. You can sense it.
Mhm.
Probably no better time to sense that than the Indy 500 that weekend. So got a taste of it there, and then yeah, it's been a lot of fun just being here and going through the season, feeling the support of the fans.
Do you have any favorite spots already?
Um, I don't know if I have any favorite spots. I mean, I could say St. Elmo's, but I feel like that's a very, very cliche
It
answer.
is, but it is good.
I like St. Elmo's. Yeah, there's some good spots around town. I'm still trying to get to know more and more spots.
Well, so you were with a handful of your teammates that day, and so I also was just curious, like when you came on board with the team, like what does that look like for you? How did you handle that scenario, and what has that been like in terms of growing the chemistry, and really building that camaraderie?
Yeah, it's been great. I think we got great guys here. I think when you're the new guy and you're trying to get a sense for the locker room and the guys, you mainly want to just kind of hang around and not assert yourself too strongly. Kind of just get a sense for how things have been, what the feel is, what the culture is, and kind of learn what goes on. But I think just trying to build relationships as much as you can when you get in, and that's what the spring I think is for a lot. You have more time outside the building, whether it's playing golf or getting dinner or going to the Indy 500 or hanging out on the weekends, whatever it is. I think that time is really important to get to know guys, build relationships, because that stuff definitely does pay off during the season.
How do you do that? Like, what is your strategy for doing that?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know if I have like a real thought out, step by step process to it.
No, I
I
know
feel
it
like
sounds
it's
funny, but it's like friendship. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like when you're the
yeah,
new kid in school, kind of, right?
right.
But
I don't know. I mean, I think it's one just like having the time and using your time for that as opposed to other things. Just prioritizing, spending time doing things, hanging out, whatever it is. I think that's just a product of spending time and trying to get to know guys.
how would you describe sort of the feel around the team and I guess at this point, what do you think it is that really has added to the ability for you guys to have the success that you're having?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think the feel of the team. I mean, I would say it's a tight group, like a
Mhm.
lot of like-minded guys who care a lot about football. And football is a priority, and care a lot about having a good locker room. Care a lot about having a tight team. I think that is intentional. In a lot of ways, it takes guys who want to do that, who want to spend the time, who want to prioritize a lot of those relationships, and we have a lot of those guys. So I think that's shown up on the field for us, and winning helps. If you win and have some success, I think it can help build some momentum, and everything's more fun when you're winning.
I know that people say that you are very good at being even keel, right? Like not getting too high, not getting too low. And what how do you do that? Like what is your sort of takeaway for how you celebrate accomplishments or hardships for that matter?
Um, well, I think part of it is just kind of like personality is kind of the way I feel like the way I am and the way, um, yeah, just kind of naturally, am. But I think not trying to get outside of that too much and just kind of being comfortable with that. I think, and understanding the ups and downs of football, the ups and downs of playing in the NFL, and how hard it can be week in and week out. I think you got to enjoy the successes, but only for a little bit because it changes every week. And the perspective of that. I remember as a rookie, it was just like you win one game and it's, my first game, we played Tampa at Tampa and,
Mhm.
we won and it was crazy. And everything is times 100, and you're on top of the world. And then, I think we won the following week and then went through a tough stretch and didn't win much. And it was like, wow, like the NFL can be so high and so low. So you just gotta do your best to kind of reset every week.
So when that's happening, like, can you take us inside that? What is that juxtaposition really like?
I think I mean, honestly, like Sunday, like in the locker room after you win is about is as good as anything. I think that feeling, just working all week for it, knowing how hard it is to win, and then going back in the locker room with the team and celebrating is definitely it's what you work for. It's a real high. And then I think after that it's you got to be able to get back on Monday and reset. And I think that's the challenge in so many ways in the NFL is kind of regardless of what happened on Sunday, can you get back to level on Monday and correct it and keep improving.
What would you say is the thing no one tells you that you have experienced on your journey so far that you think is valuable for other people to learn from?
Um, I don't know. That's a good question. I think there's a lot of things. I mean, we've talked about relationships some. I think that is a huge part of the NFL of success, but also just like enjoying coming to work every day and enjoying playing in the NFL or the relationships you're able to build with coaches, with teammates, and how long, how long that can go, how what that can do on the field and off the field, and um, fortunate in the NFL, you're playing in, you know, you think about growing up, and a lot of people played sports growing up. And for me, at least, sports was kind of how I built relationships, how I got to know people, kind of what you do in your free time with your friends and in the summer or whatever it is. And the fact that you're still, we're still able to play football and kind of, build relationships, build friendships that same way is I think pretty neat. So I don't know. I think that's probably something that's not covered the same in the media or isn't as public, but just kind of, yeah, I guess, and one way to say it is just, I just really enjoy being in a locker room and how special it is to kind of be in a locker room on a team with a group of guys.
Well, I don't know that people really fully grasp how much of your life that is. And I know that sounds simple, but I really believe that. I think, and I had a podcast conversation about faith in football with the Buffalo Bills and their chaplain and a player, Lorenzo Alexander, and we talked about the locker room environment. And Lorenzo was talking about when he was a young player and how he really didn't know at that point where he fit in because he was looking at these older guys and he was like, I want more of that, like with what their lifestyle was, with families, et cetera. But I think it's so interesting. And you're right, when people talk about or think about a locker room, you don't think about the fact of the amount of time that you guys are spending there, the wins and losses. So that emotional roller coaster that you're talking about, the business of the NFL and just like example, Sauce Gardner, all of a sudden getting to right, like his life now turned upside down. He's all of a sudden heading to Indy, and for him, it's a good thing, but I just think that's really fascinating. And now I lost my train of thought, but I
No, it is. I
really,
mean, I think you spend all day, every day in the locker room. And
Mhm.
obviously guys have families and, have lives outside of football. But there's also a lot of younger guys who don't have a ton going on outside of football and like these relationships and, the time in here is so much of what we do.
So when you talk about the relationships with Shane, your head coach, Steichen, what is it? How would you describe the relationship and the communication between both of you? Because I have heard that his communication is really great. And I don't know what that means in football. What does that mean?
um, Yeah, I mean, I feel like communication is definitely like a big buzzword everyone likes to throw
Right.
around, and like he's a great communicator. Well, is that because he's a good communicator, or because you won, or like But
Right. What
I
is he
really do
communicating
think he
about?
is. I think I guess just like going through the week is the biggest thing that I've really appreciated with him, and we spend a lot of time in a normal football work day. You're on the field practicing for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is. You're walking through for 30 minutes, and the rest of the time you're meeting, you're watching film, you're installing plays, you're watching the opponent. What is the opponent going to do? How are we going to attack certain things? And what's the game plan? You're installing the game plan. So that's most of the day. And then kind of the biggest. So there's a lot of communication there, but I'll meet with Shane also, kind of just me and him, and we'll watch film. He'll go through the game plan. He'll say, what about this play? What about that play? I want you to think about, looking at this guy to this guy on this play. And then, as we get later in the week, it's a lot of, he thinks through how he's going to call a game, what plays at what point in the game he's thinking, what he wants me to be ready for, what he expects the defense to do. And all that is very helpful for me, because then I take that information and I'm, okay, I need to go back and watch all their looks against this formation. What defense do they play against this? Or what, okay, there's this route. I need to remind the receiver, be ready for this, come out of the break a little bit differently. I think all that kind of stuff and the communication throughout the week, to get ready to play on Sunday goes a long way.
I asked, there were a couple kids that knew that I was chatting with you, and they play on my son's flag football team, and they were like, "Oh my God." And their season may have ended on an interception, which was really,
Oh
it's so
man,
much
that's
harder
tough.
to watch, but they're such great players, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the kids said, he was like, ask, like, how does he handle it if he throws an interception? And I thought that's actually fascinating, because I've not ever necessarily talked to a quarterback, certainly a starting quarterback in the NFL, about that. What is that process like once it happens, and how do you move through that in real time?
Yeah. I think you get better at it. It's never easy if you're playing flag football or if you're playing in the NFL. I think what I've tried to do, is kind of just get back to like what do you need to do on the next play, and what's important kind of in that moment on that play, and kind of be right there in that play, and kind of good or bad, whatever's happened, are really just distractions towards what needs to happen on the next play. So if it's a bad thing and you're thinking about that, then that's taking my attention away from like, hey, I need to look at this guy, I need to look at that guy, and I need to throw the ball with conviction. It sounds simple, but it's like if something good happened, that's also taking my attention somewhere besides like, what does this next play need to happen? And your mind's going to drift, I think, through a game, and you're going to have a lot of different thoughts, but kind of knowing they're going to come, observing those thoughts, and getting back to like, what needs to happen right here on this play. But
So sort of like flipping a
there's some,
switch.
yeah, I think, yeah, giving yourself a break, understanding that your mind's going to drift, but then like, what do I need to do right here? But I don't know if flag football, if they're working on that too much in flag football, just have fun, let it rip. I feel like.
Yeah. But you know what? It's hard to watch those emotions though, because it's real. Like they get, it's like they get so invested, and it's like, especially as a parent, it's interesting
Yeah.
to watch it. The other one that someone said was, how would you describe your journey so far up to getting to the Colts? How would you describe what your career path has been like?
In a lot of ways, it it hasn't gone the way you expected on draft night in a lot of ways,
Mhm.
and kind of see it. But yeah, I think kind of what we've been saying. There's a lot of ups and downs in playing in the NFL, and a lot kind of throughout that you learn and experience along the way. But I don't know. I mean, I guess how would I describe it? I don't know. Just, yeah, learning and growing. I
Mhm.
think it hasn't always been the smoothest, but I do feel really, really, really fortunate to be here with this team and, playing for Shane, playing with these guys in the locker room and being in Indianapolis. So, it all works out like it's supposed to, I think. And just, I feel very fortunate to have had the path I've had and learned what I've learned.
What do you think helped the most with prepping you for where you are now in terms of your time in New York? Like what things have you pulled from that whole experience, both the good and the bad, that has
Yeah.
helped you?
One, I think, the appreciation for how hard it is to win.
Mhm.
Talking about being in the locker room on Sunday and enjoying those wins, just knowing how hard it is and what all goes into it. I think, learning the highs and lows of the NFL. And, I think I learned pretty quickly that if you, just how week to week it is. Um, and that part of it, I mean, I think there's scheme things and, there's things within the game that you learn and grow with, but, just how hard, how hard it is to win in the NFL.
How hard is it to prep for an international game? Getting ready to
Yeah,
go
it's a
to
little
go
different.
overseas.
The travel obviously is the biggest thing, and we'll leave Thursday night, wake up Friday
Mhm.
morning in Berlin, and then go to a walkthrough, and then you're kind of one day away from the game. So um, I've done it twice. We played in London in 22 with the Giants. We played in Munich last year with the Giants. So it's an adjustment for sure. The game itself is cool. The fans and the energy in the stadium. I'll be looking forward to that. But you got to be able, be smart with how you handle the travel.
What are 3 things that no one knows about you?
I'm never very good at these type of questions. I don't know. I don't know. I talk about my siblings. I've got 3 athletic siblings who all played sports in college. I don't know how exciting that
Like,
is.
super athletic, though, not just like you're running them, like, you come from a seriously athletic family.
They were good athletes. Yeah, they were good athletes. We were always playing something outside. My mom was not big on video games or computer or anything, so we were outside playing some kind of sport. Every season we were playing some sport, and I think that had a lot to do with, I think we all kind of helped each other um, that way. It was a fun way to grow up. But yeah, they all played sports. What else? I don't know. I like music. I'd say that's something. I'm always trying to find new music and new bands here and there.
What's your
I
favorite genre?
My favorite genre. I listen to mostly like, I guess, like country type, folk type, southern rock ish, but different genres. Not all one thing.
So who's on your playlist right now or in the top?
Um, right now, um, so last Friday, a band, or Colton Moore and the Clever Few were in Indianapolis. I went and listened to them. They're pretty good.
Okay,
I've
that's
been
cool.
listening to a band called Buffalo Traffic Jam recently. They're pretty good. Um, I'd say like my all-time favorite band is probably like Kings of Leon or Zach Bryan. I love Zach Bryan. Listen to Zach Bryan all the time.
Yeah, he's
But
good.
yeah, I'm always
Okay.
looking for new music. So if anyone's got some music suggestions, I'm all ears.
Sweet. Okay, one more. Do you have one more, or are
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Oh, one more fun fact. I don't know if I have another fun fact. Um, that's about it. Yeah, that's all I got.
I'll let you off the hook. But wait, okay. So before we let you go, I know you got to run. Just um, have you let yourself think about down the road with this team, about how far you think that this team can go, and what you think is possible?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think certainly confident in our team and what we can do. I think and how good we are, how good we think we are. But I think for the most part, I think we've done a really good job focusing on the week we're in, and that's what we'll I think, continue to do. Shane's big on that and staying kind of in that week, making sure we're prepared to play that week. We've got a lot of football in front of us. We've played well, but it's a long season, and like I said, the NFL is so week to week. So we've got to keep playing well. We know that, but we're excited and confident about our team.
My very last question. Do you think there's something that has set you apart in terms of, like, is it belief? Is it, what is like one of the key characteristics that you think has come into play for you in terms of being such a successful quarterback at this point, besides the preparation?
I think belief's a big thing. I think, the support I feel like the support I have and people who've helped me the past, whatever it is, kind of work through it. I think that's part of the belief, is just knowing, how many people have had my back, have supported me, have, given me good advice along the way and pointing me in the right direction. I think that's been a huge help for me.
Is there one person in particular that comes to your mind?
My family. My parents, certainly. Think about my college coach, Coach Cutcliffe at Duke. I still talk to him all the time, and he's been as big an influence as anybody on me. I think Jason Garrett's a coach I had in New York who I'm still very close to, who's done a ton to help me and been supportive. But there's so many people I could name and think of, teammates I've had in the past. So many people.
Awesome. Did your mom let you do any video games, or was it like hard no?
We had some video games like on the weekends, I think,
Okay.
for like an hour or two, or I don't know. Are you strict on video games?
No, that's what I was asking. I'm like, well, actually, I think right now there's one going on downstairs. But
Okay.
that's exactly what I was looking for, because I think that's the type of boundary that you need. Yes, weekends. I think that's actually really good.
And that was like at the beginning. We were always pushing the limits on that. So I think there was always some restriction on video games. It was weekends, and then I don't think we ever played during the week, but weekends, and there was time limits, and there was this and that. But
like do your homework first type deal, or like do the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because what was the game of choice for you at that point?
We played a lot of like Madden and FIFA. I think that was most of what went on. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. You're the best.
Appreciate it, Lindsay. Thank you.
So also, just a note, the loss that the Colts had at the hands of the Steelers was not pretty for them. And so it is interesting to think about, could this be a bounce back game against the Falcons? And what are we going to see? The other thing I really appreciated was Daniel Jones giving sort of parenting advice. And the video game thing was, I appreciated that. And just the answers that he had to the questions from the kids, I thought was very cool. So I'm not going to leave you hanging. I brought back my all-time favorite joke for this one because of the theme. Why did the football coach go to the bank? To get his quarterback. No, honestly, listen, we know a lot of things can happen any given Sunday or other day that a game is played in the NFL. But I love to see hard work pay off. And I believe that is what we're all watching now. We'll see, because one game that is a game that seems like a setback and people start to clamor for like, oh, was that real? But you guys, they're 7-2. So let's watch and see. And Daniel Jones and the Colts, thank you guys so much for making this conversation happen. I really appreciated it. And I hope you guys liked it too. So don't forget, subscribe. Let me know what you're liking, what you want to hear more of. And as always, thank you for watching and listening to Things No One Tells You. See you next time. Thanks so much for joining me. I can't wait to see you back here next week. Please don't forget, follow and subscribe to Things No One Tells You. And of course, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to leave a 5-star review, because that's really what helps people get more listeners. We would love to grow this community. We are so grateful that you're a part of it. See you next time.